go ahead and light this back up. We're gonna go ahead and get started on our main course while we're enjoying the little appetizer that's taming our cravings right now for rabbit. And the oil should still be kind of hot, but we're just gonna test it out again just to make sure that it's extremely hot. Just dab a little bit of flour there. As you can see, it's popping, so it's ready to go. So what we're gonna do now is I like to use my hands on this one. Reason being is because sometimes when you try to get your tongs to clamp on these things and drop it, sometimes it slip off because it's holding on a piece of bone. And if you can't tell, this is the, I like to say the top side of the loin, the back leg. So we're going to put that down first, like so. Same thing with the other one. And the backs, we're going to use the top side where the loins are. Those are going to go down. And always be cautious when you drop these in, guys. Like I said, accident-free kitchen is a happy kitchen. Okay? So as these go, what we're going to do is we're going to turn this down to a medium heat now. Reason being is because we want to slightly cook the rabbit just a little bit, but get that nice golden brown without burning it. We're going to go to like a medium, let's go just a tad bit less than a medium here. And kind of rotate it because, you know, every pan here contributes heat in different spots of the pan. So I like to kind of move mine around, get a nice golden brown here in different spots. Let's go just a little bit less. That's looking good. Smelling good too. Smell of rabbit has its own essence in the kitchen, guys. Definitely not like chicken, not like beef, definitely not like pork. And right now what we're going to do is we're going to check the smallest piece first, because it's getting kind of there, and then we're going to check one of the bigger pieces to see what color we have here. And it's pretty close. I'm going to give it like another 15-20 seconds on each side there before we flip it over. Alright, so I think we're okay to flip. You see that's about the color that we want there, nice golden brown. There as well. Oh, beautiful. I'll let that sit for about a minute or so and then rotate it like I did before. And at this point, of course, now you're starting off with the brand new side, you want to crank up the heat again. So you get that nice sealant of the flour, like so. And once you see that coating stick to the bottom, as so, you can actually turn down the heat back to a medium-low. Reason being is because we don't want to burn the flour here. We just want to be nice golden brown. The best part about pan frying the rabbit this way, it seals its juiciness, its moisture inside. Rabbits are very lean meat, and because of that, we want to seal all the juice inside, as much as possible at least. You can see it's kind of getting there now, so what we're going to do is turn it down to a medium-low. Now we're going to give it a quick rotation here. Kind of move it around the pan here. Just like so. Check with the beets here first. It's getting very, very close, maybe 10, 15 more seconds, and we'll take this out. There you go. That one looks good. That's the smallest piece, of course. Smallest always comes out first because that, you know, that cooks first. There we go with the next piece. piece after that. We'll let that one sit just a little bit longer. That one's ready, so we'll take that guy out. There we go. That's the color that we want. So now, set that to the side for a little bit. We're going to take this hot oil and be very, very careful, guys. And thin this out. What we do is we're going to take away all that fat that we had earlier. Okay? I'm going to leave that back. All the runnings and stuff you have at the bottom of the pan, keep that. We're going to use that as flavor. Stock goes in. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to save that. That's going to be a nice little roux that we're going to be using at the end for our thickener. So we're going to take another bowl and we're going to reduce that just a tad bit here. Okay, clean out the pan here. I'm going to take that to the side. And as you guys know, usually this stuff here is for gravy. We're not doing a gravy today, so we're going to set that to the side. We're going to get that pan nice and hot, get all the moisture out of there. What we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit more oil in there. Let's just kind of take a quick look here to make sure all the moisture is gone. Because moisture and oil, hot oil that is, does not bind very well together. Pops all over the place in your face, in your kitchen, becomes a huge mess. So now we have put our oil back in here. And now we're going to start from a cold oil. And we're going to put our vanilla or sweet Maui onions down low. And what we're going to do is now we're going to sweat these. You don't want to caramelize it, you just want to sweat it down, kind of bring its moisture, kind of bring its flavor into the braising liquid. Okay? If you want to use a wooden spoon for this, you're more than welcome to. I like to use my tongs. It's the most versatile kitchen tool, I think, in my opinion. Right now I'm just kind of separating the layers here, kind of making one single layer so we can sweat those onions out. Bring that up to a high heat again, because now the sweating process is almost there. Next thing is your smoked pancetta. If you don't have smoked pancetta, you can use red pancetta, pork fat, or even bacon. It's really up to you. It's all on preference. I like to use smoked pancetta. It gives a nice little smoky flavor to it. So we're going to add those after the onions sweat. And this is mainly for flavor. It's not really there as your main protein, because we really want the protein to be your rabbit. It's looking good, guys. Looking good. And once the smoked pancetta hits the pan, you can really just start just smelling the flavors being released while it's cooking. Alright, now we're not trying to crispy up the pancetta here, so what we're doing is just sweating it down like how we are with the onions. The reason why the onions went in first, it's more of a dense vegetable, so you want to kind of cook that down, kind of get the fibers out of there. We don't want that fibery taste. So next thing you want to do, you want to go into your chicken stock. What I had here was 3 cups of tomato puree and 3 cups of tomato stock. I used about 4 or 5 ounces earlier to make a roux for later. So what we're going to do is going to pour all this in here. Going to give it a nice little stir. Now we're going to pour in our tomato puree. And try not to splash it because you don't want a dirty kitchen. Just like so. We'll let that go in. Now this is the part where you're going to have to keep your eye on it, people. The reason being is because with this, you're going to want it to come to a boil. Alright, as you guys can see here, we got the liquid boiling, what I call rolling pretty hard, because you got the bubbles rolling around here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to give it a quick stir. A quick light stir, that is. Kind of mix everything up here. So now we're going to go with our meat. Rabbit, what I do is I usually start face down. So what we're going to do is, here's the top side, so we're going to do it face down. Here. The other one face down. Now with this technique, what I do is I kind of do like opposite ends of each other. Here on both sides or so. This one face down as well. Now we're going to take the tomatoes here and we're going to just kind of disperse this just right on top so it can release its juices right on top of the meats here while it's cooking. And what I do with the leftovers, I put a little bit in the center, kind of in between here or so. And while this is going, now we're going to turn it down to a medium. And we're going to let that go, like I said earlier, for about 45 minutes. Rotating it every 15 minutes or so. And by the time you get to there, you should take a toothpick or a skewer, kind of poke right into the middle of it, see if it's soft tender, make sure it's nice and warm. Or if you have a thermometer works as well. Meat thermometers are great. That's what they're used for. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the lid and we're just going to cover it, let it go at medium heat. And what's going to happen is all the juices from the rabbit is going to get released in there. The sauce itself is going to get more thick. And what we're going to do is we have this roux here that we saved on the side. If we need to, we can reuse that and incorporate it into the braising liquid. Give it that nice thick richness and pour it over whatever you want. Today we're just going to cook it the way it is, kind of like a man's meal. No potatoes, no vegetables, pure meat. That's what we're going to do today. So it's been about 45 minutes now. We're going to check our rabbit. And we're going to have an extra pan here to set things on the side. So that's what that's for. We're going to check now for the density of the rabbit. As you can tell, with me squeezing here, the fibers of the rabbit, the meat fibers are falling apart. There you go. You know it's ready. What we're going to do now is check the back part. Squeezing the loins. Same exact motion. Meats are falling apart, nice and tender now, so we're going to go ahead and move forward with this. So what we're going to do is, we're going to take a little bit of this liquid, right dead center, away from all the fat here. This bright red here is all fat, so if you like that flavor, you can stick with it. I tend to not use it in my braising liquid. As you can see, I'm doing a little bit of stir here, so I can pick up a little bit of that, the smoked pancetta, the onions, the diced tomatoes. There we go. And move this over to this here. We're going to light that sucker up. We're going to keep that on full blast. As you noticed earlier before, we did not use our peas, our unsalted butter, our salt, and our roux that we made with the excess flour in the pan. What we're going to do now is we can actually cut this off, because that's ready to go. We're going to slowly thicken this sauce up. We're going to wait for it to come to a full boil. Alright, as it comes to a full boil, what we're going to do now is we're going to get our butter, about a tablespoon of that, we're going to add that in. into the sauce. Now we're going to turn this to a medium heat. As it slowly thickens up, we're going to add a pinch of salt. And maybe we'll go for 2. We're going to let that go. The reason why I'm kind of scooping it and letting it go down is testing the thickness of the braising liquid. As you can see, it's not coating my spoon. It's just kind of releasing all itself there. Nothing's really coating it or sticking to my spoon. So we're not quite there with the thickness. So what we're going to do now is with a little bit of this roux that we made earlier, I'm just going to add about a tablespoon in there. And that should definitely help us thicken up the sauce. Turn it up just a little bit. Add a little bit more of this roux. So about halfway to its thickness that we want, we're going to go ahead and add some peas to this. And this all depends on how much you like peas. I'll do about a handful worth, just about a cup or so. Heat that up with the braising liquid. And some coat just barely. Go a little bit longer. While that's cooking now, we're going to go ahead and transfer. We'll just go ahead and do 1 back leg and 1 back in the meantime. I'll put that right in there. As you can tell with the difference in colors of the crimson red, you see kind of like an orangey pink, is because all the butters and that roux that you add in changes up the color of the braising liquid. Alright, so what we're really looking for here is just a little bit of a coating to the spoon, because we're not really doing a sauce, we're actually doing a braising liquid. So you can see it just barely kind of coats the spoon. That's exactly what we're wanting. So we're going to go ahead and transfer it over here to our plate. And what I usually do is I always start with the back first, with the loins face up, of course. You put that right there, just like so. And then you take your back leg, you can see the meat's already falling apart of that back leg, and just right on top, just like so. And now with this liquid, we're going to go hit it up. Couple of peas. And if you're eating this with polenta or a cornbread or rice, whatever beans that you do choose, it's really up to you. You can make a nice big thick sauce. You can make a loose sauce, pour it over rice. It's definitely really good. What I do is just like to put a little bit there and take a little bit of this drizzle of the sauce. Just kind of hit the plate with it, just like so.